I think Devontae Smith is. I think Devontae Smith is who we thought he was. Right, he's going to be a wide receiver 2 in this offense, but I think he offers more than his wide receiver 3 price tag right now. You feeling the same?
Yeah, I think he's a tremendous value. It's one of those players that was taken like a little bit too high last year. ADP was fixed, more going in the 4th round, where I just think he's, can easily outperform that. And really, in my opinion, he's being drafted at his floor. So nothing but upside for him.
Did I get this? This is Superflex, right? This is Superflex. This is
Yeah,
Superflex, 2
this is
wide receivers, 2 flex spots. Just want to make sure we all on the same page here. I think Devontae Smith. The only problem I see with Devontae Smith is that he's still going in a range where like some of the other like the DK Metcalf, Cooper Kupps are going. So I don't see myself taking him or Waddle or T Higgins over like those guys. But if he fell to me in like the Malik Neighbors range, or maybe it was like Christian Kirk, that's where I'm taking like Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, T Higgins. Even though both of those guys, like Jalen Waddle was a top 10 receiver 2 years ago, Devontae Smith was a top 12 receiver 2 years ago. So I know the upside's there. It's just that's how I got it.
No, I think those are just really rock solid wide receiver 2s in that range. That you could even say should be going higher, should be going the back end of the 2nd round, really, where some of those other guys are going. So
Facts. Man, we went on auto again. If I make this trade, I have an offer to send Jacobs for Corum in a first. That I would accept. You get Blake. You're sending Josh Jacobs for Blake Corum in a first. I'd rather, if you're going to win now, I just keep Jacobs.
Yeah, well, if you're trying to win, though, yeah, I don't know if I would send that. I mean, I like that because I just like having multiple, like in Dynasty, and I'm sure you know this, and like anybody that really plays Dynasty, but like, man, when it's rookie draft season, those rookie picks are worth so much, and you can trade them away for established players because everybody thinks that their guy is going to be the next greatest thing in fantasy football, when like half the time the picks in the 1st round don't even work out. So like you can get ridiculous players in Dynasty with those 1st round picks, even if it's like pick 10. It doesn't really matter.
So here I am at the back of this turn, and I think I'm gonna kind of do a Tyler-esque move. I'm gonna go Richardson, and I'm gonna go Bijan.
I mean, that's a move.
Yeah, I wanted to go Brees there and Bijan, but I'm gonna go A-Rich. Thoughts on Mike Evans for fantasy? Mike Evans, I think Mike Evans is gonna be a value like he always is. He's there you go, Rock. Rock, you got kicked out. It was when we changed it. We changed it from 14 to 12, man. I was trying to get you in there. We got rock music and rock out. I didn't know which rock it was. My bad, dog. My bad. I'll do another one. I'll stick around. I don't know if you got time to stick around, but we can do another one after this. Jahan, if I get another 7.3, I'm out this big. Damn, Tyler, bro, 7.3. That's the lowest ranking. That was a Jahan type team, too. Hurt my soul, man.
I'm sorry.
Hurt my soul. Yo, I'm gonna give you this one. I've been getting some start bench cuts, but they're gonna, sometimes they're the off script ones, right? You go pretzels, animal crackers, or goldfish. He said the snack that smiles back.
So start bench. Okay, so I'd probably go start goldfish bench. What kind of animal crackers? Like I'm trying to think of like what exactly.
The ones that come in a little box. You know what I'm saying? Like the little,
like the zoo ones.
Yeah,
I think they're like the zoo.
You kids don't animal crackers?
I don't really like pretzels, honestly. Like if it's just a regular pretzel, like and it's just it's like you got to have something to dip that in my opinion. I can't just sit there and eat pretzels.
The hard pretzels, or are you talking about like the soft pretzels?
Because
they're different. You know what I'm saying? The hard pretzels are different.
Are you saying the soft ones that you can like dip in cheese? Like those ones?
Your choice. You reading the question, so your choice.
I'm thinking it's like those pretzels that are just like a stick. You know what I mean? I don't really like those pretzels. Like if you give me the hard, crunchy ones, like I think they're like sourdough or something ones.
Yeah,
I fucks with those, but I'm thinking of just like the stick pretzels, like
the ones that come in that big ass bag and they're hella dry. You need like 3 glasses of water in order.
You gotta be drinking water with that shit. Nobody wants that. Like it's just
hell no. I'm cool on pretzels. Pretzels got no taste. It's just all bread.
No, it's just salt. You're eating salt.
Fuck
Like,
that,
I'd
bro.
rather just get a like, I can't believe people pick that over chips. Like,
It's
what's wrong with
surprisingly healthier. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be like the healthier
Yeah.
alternative, but I'm cool on pretzels. Pretzels are definitely going to the cut. I feel like animal crackers though. I go animal crackers. You know what I'm saying? Goldfish are kind of the same thing. You eat a couple goldfish and you're like, man, I'm
Oh,
cool
I
off these,
fucks
bro.
with goldfish. Goldfish are so
How
good.
many can you sit there and eat a whole bag of them though? Like I don't know how kids do that.
Uh,
Like little
oh,
kids,
yeah.
you give them a bag of goldfish, bro. They're good for
They'll
like
eat
an
the whole
hour.
thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I see me personally, like, when it comes to snacks, I just don't have, like, a stop. I can just fucking crush bags of chips. So I just don't have, like, a stopping point. I'd eat the whole bag of goldfish.
Especially get on that game mode, bro. You just in
Yeah,
there
exactly.
gaming or listening, doing something. Jahan, I know you're more of a Diggs guy. Let me put this down real quick. Jahan, I know you're more of a Diggs guy, but you don't think Nico was good as wide receiver one, and now he'll have less attention on him. So I think he can reproduce what he did last year since Stroud shares the ball. So it's not that I don't think Nico was good as the one. I was advocating for Nico as the one last year when a lot of people were saying Tank Dell was the wide receiver one. I was one of the people that said, nah, I really think Nico Collins is the guy. I just think when you get a talent like Stephon Diggs in there, now the paradigm shifts and everybody has to play a different role. CJ Stroud can't throw for 6,000 yards. That's just not how football works. So if he throws for 45, I got to think in my head, okay, 45, Diggs is probably good for 1,000 to 1,200 of that just off the rip, right? Nico Collins, who hasn't, he was a, what was it, 1,200 yard receiver last year? That's his career high.
Mhm.
So I think if anybody's going to take a step back, now Nico Collins is maybe in that 1,000, the 900 to 1,100 yard range, right? And Tank Dell, who was on a 1,000 yard trajectory before he got hurt, is now pushed to more of like the 800 range, right? So you get 1,200 yard Diggs, 1,000 yard Nico, 800 yard Tank. We're talking about 3,000 yards right there. Dalton Schultz is good for another 800. The receiving out the backfield is going to be good for another 200. Noah Brown's going to have another 400. We're talking about a 4,600 yard season from CJ Stroud if everything goes right. That's if he's at the same pace that he's at last year. So I'm not always just quick to be like, yo, I think the player is going to do well because they brought in another talent. I don't think that's how it works. I'm looking at it more holistically as everybody has a role in the offense. This defense is going to be better. They're not going to be in as many shootouts. If CJ Stroud is him, we're probably getting decent seasons out of all three. Speaking of Stephon Diggs, I'll take him right now just because. Diggs and I think Debo's going way too late here. What quarterbacks are left? Yeah, I'm good up the quarter. Why is Debo going fourth round here, bro? Yeah, give me Debo. But yeah, that's how I feel about the Diggs thing. I don't know. I hopefully I'm not too far off on that, but that's my thought process on it. Tyler, I'll let you take this one, man. How do you feel about DK Metcalf for fantasy? I know we kind of just touched on it. How do you feel about DK Metcalf for fantasy? Seems kind of streaky.
Um, uh, I like for where he's currently going, I mean, I really like him. And, like, streaky, I guess, in terms of, like, spike, I'm assuming kinda spike weeks-esque. Well, I guess has some good games and doesn't, but I just think that he's been playing in a prehistoric offense with, like, Pete Carroll these
Yeah,
past few years, and it's just now we're getting a more modernized at least we should be, I think we're gonna be getting a more modern offense here in Seattle that's only gonna help him. Yes, Tyler Lockett has been very solid throughout his entire career, but he's getting up there in age. He's gonna start to decline a little bit. JSN's gonna start to take over, but I just feel like DK is the number one target on this team. He's proven throughout his entire career he's a very good red zone threat as well. He's a big play threat. I just think like where he's currently going, one of the best values in drafts for a guy who has been a top 10 wide receiver in fantasy football, can be a top 10 wide receiver. And at worst, he's a back end wide receiver too, which is where he's going. So I just think he's, a very, very good target.
I'm with you there, bro. I think DK, especially if you can get him as like your wide receiver 3 later in your draft, it's a money move, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rock out. Appreciate the super, bro. How you feeling about Flowers? I feel like Flowers is a watered down Chris Olave. Like, what are you getting out of Zay Flowers upside wise and Todd Monken's offense? I get it, but like, what are you really getting out of him upside wise? The yardage is going to be there. It's going to be the same. Obviously, um, You talk about Lamar, he's going to be the same quarterback, probably going to run more this year, probably going to be using Derrick Henry more in the red zone. Mark Andrews is going to be healthy now. What's the upside with Zay Flowers? You're not getting a 100 catch season. You're not getting 10 touchdowns. Tell me what the upside is. There's just no upside. So I think how we talk about Chris Olave not having a whole lot of upside and being the same player at the back end, wide receiver 1, high end, wide receiver 2 conversation is the exact same way I feel about Zay Flowers as a wide receiver 3. I'm not chasing that. I'm not
I like
chasing
him. I mean, I prefer him at cost though, personally over Chris Olave.
Okay, are you taking in that same range? So in that same range as Zay Flowers, are you taking Zay Flowers or are you taking George Pickens?
Oh no. Oh yeah.
Oh, it's your pick. My bad. Yeah.
No, I forgot, or I thought I didn't have a quarterback already, but I did. Okay, I
Right.
panicked there for a second.
So you got Zay Flowers or George Pickens?
Yeah, I'd probably go with George.
Zay Flowers or T Higgins?
I'd rather take. I feel like they're kind of the same-ish player in terms of like true upside. Like I highly doubt like T's basically a wide receiver too, which I think
Yeah.
Zay is going to be. So I'd rather just take the chance on Zay, taking a big another step in year 2, which he was fantastic year 1. So
Are you taking Zay Flowers or Keenan Allen?
I was Zay easy.
Easy over Keenan Allen?
I want nothing to do with Keenan Allen this year. I'm sorry. See, and that's
Why?
why the guy that drafted Keenan Allen or last time hated the team that I graded. He had Keenan Allen. He had Alvin Kamara. Like these are players I just don't want anything to do with.
The old players. The old
The old
players.
heads.
The old heads. See, people fade me because I'm an old head, man. People fade me because
I fade people with. Well, it's just I get the Keenan Allen, but I like DJ Moore.
Keenan Allen's your wide receiver 3. I mean, you were getting that same value last year. Caleb hits. Keenan Allen's a 100 catch guy. If Caleb hits, if Keenan Allen stays healthy for 15 games, not even all 17, 15 games, 14 games, if Caleb Williams is a 4,000 yard quarterback, Keenan Allen has 100 receptions and 1,000 yards easily. Easily.
We'll see. I think Rome will overtake him as the season progresses. I think he'll be the number 2.
Damn, y'all left Joe Mixon there for me. All right, I'll take him. I don't want to wait, but I'm gonna wait on quarterback here. You asked me about Aaron Jones, and this is about the range where I think about taking him. I'm gonna take Aaron Jones here. Take Aaron Jones. Thoughts about Michael Pittman for fantasy? Would you personally draft him? Yes, I've been actually taking Mike. I find myself in drafts in that second round, and I don't know how you do with this, Tyler, but the receivers, it gets like, depending on the day, I'll take a different receiver because I've done so many drafts. So
Yeah.
sometimes I take Brandon Ayuk, sometimes I take Mike Evans, sometimes I take Debo, sometimes I take Michael Pittman. It just depends on how I'm feeling at the day or how I'm building like with my first pick. So how are you addressing Michael Pittman? Because I still think he's going to be a top 15 to 12 receiver this year.
I don't really like Michael Pittman, honestly. Like, I love Michael Pittman, the player. It's just I really do question Anthony Richardson as a passer. I mean, it was a very small sample size, and we didn't get to see a whole lot out of him last year in terms of passer, but like very bad in terms of efficiency in college as a passer. And then as he entered the league last year, he was bottom half. He was near the 40s in terms of like on ball percentage. Adjusted completion percentage amongst quarterbacks last year. Once again, very tiny sample size.
Yeah,
but
super
like,
small.
I don't know if he has the ability to produce a number 1 wide receiver. And like in that range, I'd rather go with the guys who I feel like have a better shot. I feel like a guy like DK Metcalf has a better shot. And I think that these are similar type players, like in terms of skill, general model. I'd rather take him, Devontae Smith. So I kind of fade Michael Pittman. Honestly, I don't really.
But with Anthony Richardson, like we're all expecting him to be an elite, like QB1 type upside. Wouldn't he have to develop as a passer in order for that to happen? Like Shane Steichen's the perfect type of coach to be around a guy like Anthony Richardson, who we know has the arm. We know he'll push it downfield. He did that last year. We saw Josh Downs have a couple catches with him. Obviously, Michael Pittman I want to say he had 2 decent games with he at least had a touchdown in one game. I want to say one other game was like an 8-catch game for him when Anthony Richardson started. So we know the potential is there, but like I just see development with Anthony Richardson, who had a year in this offense, a year to get healthy, another offseason now with these receivers. I could see Michael Pittman having like a 1,213 yard season.
I don't think so. I don't think he's going to do that this year.
No, I'm
No.
crazy.
Well, I mean, they could potentially do it. It depends on Anthony Richardson. And I like Anthony Richardson, don't get me wrong, but I love him because I feel like it's more of Justin Fields-esque with him
I'm
than
not mad at that. Giving
but
you Fields,
Justin Fields did
shades of
produce,
Justin Fields, huh?
I love Justin Fields.
Yeah.
All right, so I went with Dalton Kincaid there instead of Kyle Pitts just because I took out, like you just kind of said, I'd take different guys just to see what we do so many of these drafts that like
Yeah.
I got to try different shit out. So, and I'm going to go with, this is not 3 wide receivers. All right, so I'm going to go with a running back here. Otherwise, I probably would have went with another wide receiver, but go with
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift. I'm sure Brooks is still on the board unless somebody
I actually don't. I don't know what to think about DeAndre. So that's a hard player for me to gauge this year because he played well last year with the Eagles for a stretch, kind of tailed off towards the end. But we kind of seen that with Detroit. We saw flashes, right? He had an extended flash last year. It was a 10-game flash last year. But then he kind of fell off towards the second half of the year. And with a rookie quarterback, it's in Chicago. I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about him this year.
No, I agree. I think he's just a polarizing player. And what I'll say too is like that offense just kind of fell off at the end of last year as a whole. Like,
Yeah, that's
yes,
true.
he did, but like the Eagles are just so bad down the stretch. Um, so, but what I like is that they paid him. They brought him over here to Chicago. They paid him to kind of be the guy. I don't know if he's going to be like a workhorse back, but I do feel confident that he'll most likely, at the very least, be this team's receiving back with some rushing upside. Just kind of comes down to like what happens in the red zone. Is he going to score some touchdowns? Is he not? So I think like for where he's currently going, I mean, he's not a bad value, honestly. It's not like you have to
Yeah.
pay a premium price for him, really.
I don't know. He's a weird player because he also goes around like these receivers, these like George Pickens, the Calvin Ridley's. I kind of like Calvin Ridley this year. He goes around these guys, so I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what to think. He's a weird player. Like he goes between like Najee Harris and Ramondre Stevenson,
Yeah.
who have a little bit more touchdown upside. So I'm just like, Zamir White has more upside than him to me. I don't know. He kind of reminds me of like James Conner, where like you take James Conner, you never feel good about it. He could have a year that's good or a year that's bad, but like it's not like a sexy pick, you know? It's kind of like,
Yeah.
I just took him just because.
Yeah. No.
So,
I get what you're saying.
all right. Do you think
Damn,
Jaden
Nick
Reed,
Chubb that early?
Nick Chubb early? Yeah, that's early. But I guess this is around where he's going now. And a lot of people believe that he can play. We're seeing running backs come back from injuries earlier. I think it's affecting a lot of ADP, bro. Like Nick Chubb is getting taken earlier than I would take him. Jonathan Brooks, and it's like, yeah, maybe they pan out. Maybe they're Brees Hall. Maybe they're
Well, we
Adrian
have to see what
Peterson.
happens with
We don't see
training
that very
camp.
often.
Like training camp's going to be really interesting because if like say Nick Chubb's not back and practicing, like are you going to take him? Are you still interested? Or
Yeah,
like what if we get into August and he's still not practicing?
I'm out on Nick Chubb. They're saying he's not like it's a stretch for him to be ready for week 1, let alone preseason.
Yeah,
So
I'm not
I just don't
really.
want to hear that. Like I don't see the value of waiting for Nick Chubb until week 10 and drafting him right here. Like this doesn't make sense. Holding him on IR when it's going to take at least a couple weeks for him just to get back up to speed. And you got to pray. I mean, this dude's already had ACL injuries in the past.
Yeah,
And he doesn't catch the
and
ball.
he's.
So
I mean, he's 28, 29, however old he is now. He's up there in age. He's not
I
the
mean,
young guy he once was. Not saying he can't come back, but it's
what's
pretty
new?
bad injury last
Tyler
year.
hating on an old guy. What's new? Jaden Reed going to be a sleeper this year. I think Jaden Reed is absolutely a value where he's going right now.
I love
personally.
Jaden Reed.
Hello there, Justin Henry, if that's even your real name. What else would my name be, bro? He said if that's
It's a
your real
stage
name.
name.
That's wild. To come up with Justin Henry as a stage name would be the
Yeah,
wildest thing. The most common fucking name. Just making
For
that up.
real.
Do I look like a Justin Henry? I look like a Jason more than I look like a Justin.
Wait. Did he say Jason or Justin?
No, he said Justin.
Oh, okay.
Dan, do an edible and mock? Yo, if I did an edible and mock, I don't know what I would do. I probably just miss my pick every time. I probably just miss my pick every single time, bro. Fall asleep on stream or some shit. I went 2 QB there. I didn't like the other players at that spot. Kyron London, Harrison. So I just went with my QB's thoughts. Where you at? Tucker Jones. Oh, Dak and Kyler. I don't see that's the thing. So with quarterbacks in Superflex, strategy talk here. With quarterbacks in Superflex, I play a lot differently than Tyler, than some other guys and that do Superflex, right? Like I don't necessarily think you have to take a quarterback super early. I think the value has to still be there in the player that you take. So you took Dak and Kyler Murray. I see both of those guys as having weekly QB1 upside. So I think for where you got them and you're considering fringe receiver ones, fringe receiver twos, or fringe receiver running back ones, fringe running back twos, I think to get a locked in quarterback one on a weekly basis that has a chance to be a top 3 guy any given week, I actually don't mind that. So
I think
if you're,
Kyler was a steal. Like I was
yeah,
considering I hated that I had it. I love Garrett Wilson, but I kind of hated that I had to go Garrett Wilson there because if I would have went a wide receiver in the beginning and got, guy I love, Jamar Chase, or even like CMC went there, and then I could have gotten Kyler on the way back. I mean, holy shit, I would have loved that a lot more. So
yeah.
to get Kyler there is insane.
It's different. Like you got to draft with different people, right? Like I'd even suggest, like if you guys don't follow Tyler and do some drafts with his crew because I think they take quarterbacks a little bit earlier than the guys here in our chat do.
Yeah,
So you might be able
Kyler
to
would be
find
gone in the first
value.
round in my
That's
draft
wild.
for sure.
I'm not gonna lie, that's wild.
100%.
That's wild. I need to do a draft with your crew. I got to do a draft with your crew at some point. Did my first draft this year 2 days ago with coworkers. First time using defensive players. IDP. I'm cool off IDP, bro. There's already so much shit here.
I don't do it. Well, I'm in one league with IDP, and I don't typically fare well in that league just because I don't like pay attention to. I don't play in any leagues with defensive players, so
This
I just don't know
defensive
what I'm
players
really
is
doing.
tough. I feel real good about my team right now, man. The way I got this thing set up. So let's see how we finish it out. I'm gonna take JSN here. I think JSN is good value here. I already got enough running backs. I got 3 backs right now. I'm grab another one here. I'm gonna take some upside though, because I got the old guys. Let me get Blake Corum. I probably could have waited around, but start to get some youth in this lineup. So I get that view on Diggs. Where are you drafting Chubb and Ford? So obviously we talked about Nick Chubb. I like Jerome Ford more than I like Nick Chubb. Is that weird to say? Like I like the value we're getting right now with Jerome Ford way more. I think Jerome Ford was still available when I just picked right now. I didn't see him there, but I would have rather taken Jerome Ford. Like this guy was a top 16 running back last year.
Yeah, I think if like the longer we get into the preseason, I mean, it'll definitely affect Chubb's ADP, but I'd still think that I don't want to say fanboys because I love Nick Chubb too. Like I'm a big Nick Chubb fan, but like I think that there's some people that just kind of think he's Superman and he's going to come back, week 1 and be fine. And it's a tall task here for even like a guy, even if you kind of draft him in the 10th round, like there's a lot of still pretty good players on the board that can outproduce him for where he's going with plenty
I
of
mean,
upside.
we got 2 months left in the season for Nick Chubb till the season starts. There's no timetable for return.
Yeah, and that's the biggest problem for me is like usually they'll be pretty positive, like overly positive about stuff. And it really hasn't been saying much about him, which is a big red flag. It's not what you want to hear.
Yeah. Mr. Henry, may I borrow $25 a month for your Dove Club? No, but what you could do is you can watch all the streams, man, because a lot of the information I'm putting on the Dove Club will be in video format tucked away. This is for the people that want to use my information a lot of times to either win a valuable fantasy league or maybe win bets and win money. So a lot of this information is going to be there on the Dove Club. Right now it's free. So I put a couple things on there now. The rankings will be free on there for this week, but once we get into the season, unfortunately, I'll do some specials throughout the year, of course. But for now, it's going to be, you can watch the streams. You're going to get a lot. I'll put it this way. If you watch the streams, you really watch the streams, you're going to know a lot of the stuff that I put on the Dub Club anyway. Team 1 nasty. I don't like being 2. Yeah. Those top 3 in Superflex, it's like you gotta take a quarterback or kind of change the narrative. Team 1 is nasty. Oh shit. Yeah, team one is nasty. I like team one a lot. You got your next pick coming up. You've been taking Brian Thomas a lot. How you been feeling about Brian Thomas, bro? Because I've been seeing that. I've been low key seeing you take Brian Thomas a lot as your like wide receiver 4. You're enamored with the upside, or you just like what are
Yeah,
you
I just
thinking with
feel
that
like
pick?
there's like he could be a guy that kind of was going in that range last year was Quinn Johnston, and that didn't work out, right? But
Don't
like
say that. Don't say you shouldn't even put that aura out there. Like, nope, we taking
yeah, true. Let me take that back. I mean, honestly, but like I just think that there's a bunch of upside with him where potentially he could be the number one target for Trevor Lawrence. Explosive player,
number
one of the
one
best.
target over Gabe Davis, Evan Ingram, and Christian Kirk.
Like as we progress throughout the season, like if he hits as a wide receiver and is good, I think as the season progresses, he can be the number one target. Yes. Like later in the season, like we always see with the rookies, they break out second half of the season. I think that this could be a player. And one thing that I think is really intriguing is that college, he was a very good deep target. I think he had 14 deep target, or I don't remember what the exact stat was. I was looking it up. But Trevor Lawrence last year threw the third most deep targets in the NFL, completions that or attempts that went over 20 plus yards. So you just have a very good marriage with these two guys that do what they want to do, and that's deep balls and in the red zone where Brian Thomas was very good. So like, could there be a chance he's not very good? Absolutely, but I do think like in this range, it's where some of these rookies really outperform their ADP, and he could be one of those rookies in my
Yeah, I could see that happening. I could see the potential there. Obviously, you can see 705 potential too. Like that to me
yeah.
is a big range, and especially when you got Gabe Davis there. But let Christian Kirk go down, let Evan Ingram go down, and we could see Brian Thomas take off to a whole different level, man. Name a more iconic duo, Jahan and drafting Joe Mixon. I do draft Joe.
I'm always a guy that's a little bit higher than consensus on Joe Mixon, just because he's always like he gets a lot of hate for somebody
For
who just
what?
produces in fantasy football.
I
I
don't
don't,
understand it, bro.
and
Like
now
he's
he's
top
going,
10 every year. Every year he's top 10.
and we're talking about a guy who Devin Singletary was such a good asset at the end of last season, and they just gave Joe Mixon an extension, so he's going to be a bell cow. And they got Damian Pierce back there. I mean,
The
like it's
try
Damian
hard.
Pierce, like so Joe Mixon is going to be on the field for probably like every snap. He's going to be one of the highest. I can see him being one of the highest in terms of snap shares amongst running backs this season. Probably one of the highest running backs in terms of opportunity share. And volume is king in fantasy football, especially when that volume is attached to a very good offense, which Houston should be one of the best offense in the league. Like I
Mm-hmm.
just think he's just such a great value kind of for the problem is I just always take a lot of wide receivers in that range. But I do think like if you're gonna go with a running back, I think he's just a great target.
Yeah, I'm with you there, bro. Like honestly, I just don't know why the fantasy community hates Joe Mixon for
Yeah.
whatever reason. A lot of times it's analytics based, but every single season Joe Mixon is in the top 10. If he stays healthy, he's been a top 10 back. So I can't understand the hate. And yeah, it comes in spurts sometimes, or he'll have a 5 touchdown game randomly every couple of years. But I'll take the volume. I'll take the offense. I'll take Joe Mixon, bro. I
Mhm.
take every time he's there in the middle of the mid-tier RB2. I was doing the same thing last year. Last year at this time I was doing Alvin Kamara, Joe Mixon, Mike Evans every single draft. Every
Last
draft.
year he was RB6.
RB6, bro. I don't
RB6,
understand the hate. I don't understand the hate, bro.
267 fantasy points.
I don't
Yeah.
understand the hate. Who are some players you can't walk away from a dynasty startup draft without? I feel like, see, I'm not the right person to ask.
I
You should
can
ask
I can yeah, I've
because
done a lot of
the
dynasty
reason
startup
why I'll tell you
drafts.
before you tell me that pick, I'm gonna tell you the reason why is because I think dynasty people have the game fucked up. I do. I think people draft for the future more than they do to win their league. The goal is to win your league. Unless you're playing in a free or a $20 dynasty league where you just want to see the thing play out. Like I'm trying to win. I'm trying to win championship after championship. So give me the old guy. Give me the guys that are in their prime. Give me the guys that can help me win now. I will come into every single draft that I am in, win now. And I'll rock with Kirk Cousins later on, Jared Goff later on, all these Aaron Rodgers later on. Give me all the guys who are in their prime right now, and maybe an elite guy later on that I could get that I think has upside. That's where I'm at when it comes
So
to fantasy. Win now every time.
yeah, it does kind of depend on how you approach it. I like to do more of like a productive struggle the first year, and just collect kind of draft picks and draft some of these studs. But I will say there's a couple players from when I've done these startups that I've noticed have just been going a little bit later, no matter how you approach it. So the first one is Rashee Rice, who kind of goes in like in super flex leagues, like 7th round. And
Yeah,
I love Rashee Rice. And I feel like he's kind of discounted because they maybe brought in a couple wide receivers. He also has the suspension, but he was just so fantastic his rookie season that like maybe he doesn't work out in year 2, but should really historically we see these wide receivers only build upon that in year 2 and is attached to Patrick Mahomes. So like he's one guy. In super flex drafts, it makes no sense. Trevor Lawrence, another guy we talk about in redraft.
yeah.
Trevor Lawrence goes in the 3rd round of dynasty startup super flex drafts,
Wow.
which is mind-boggling to me because this is different than your redraft leagues, because if you do not have good quarterbacks in your dynasty leagues and super flex leagues, you are screwed. Like they are so important in dynasty super flex leagues because you can't redraft, right? You can't pick a new quarterback, and quarterbacks are so difficult to try to predict how good they're going to be year in and year out with incoming rookies. So they're very difficult to not only find new ones, but also people don't want to give up quarterbacks. So they're so hard to move off of. So like the fact that he goes in the 3rd round for somebody who's good. Trevor Lawrence is good. He's good at football. We know
Yeah,
this. It's just mind-boggling. So like those are 2 players that I think are tremendous values in like in dynasty super flex startups, whatever you
startups.
want to
Yeah,
say.
nah, Trevor Lawrence for I'm right with you on Trevor Lawrence there. What fantasy app are you guys using? I think Sleeper has been the consensus for me and Tyler. I only really use Sleeper. Yahoo was my preferred preference, but Sleeper's kind of passed them up. So
Yahoo
I'll use
was the best one prior to Sleeper, and then
yeah.
Sleeper overtook the game.
I still use Yahoo for some of my leagues, but
I do
most of
too. I think
Sleeper.
it has a really good interface, but Sleeper overtook it.
Yeah, Cooper Cup or Pittman. Cooper Cup or Pittman. I think I'm going Pittman over over Cup. The thing is, I like Pittman better than Cup, but I would rather have Cooper Cup at his ADP. If that makes sense. I think they're both. I would rather. I think Cup is just more risk, so much more risk reward than Pittman,
Mhm.
in my opinion, who's going to be a safer player. That's why I would take him. And Pittman still has 1,300 yard upside. So that's where I'm at with Pittman. I think the return with Cup could be. Oh, I got to pick. The return with Cup could be a lot better, but I'm on Pittman over Cup, and I think it's close.
I mean, it's these guys are right next to each other for me. I probably lean Cup, but it is really, really close.
Yeah. All right. Draft is over. You said you got one more in you, or are you done?
Um, what time?
It's 12
I
minutes more my time.
probably gotta get off here
All right.
after this one. Yeah.
You guys want another one or no? You guys want to do another one? Let me know in the chat. I'll do another one with you guys. Justin Henry, 2 first names. The perfect alias. That's crazy. That's crazy. Which stack do you like better, Kincaid and Allen or Kyler McBride? I'm not a stack guy. Are you a stack guy? I'm not a big stack guy.
When it
I
makes
don't intentionally
sense,
stack. Yeah.
like when you're deciding some players, sure, go with the stack, be the tiebreaker. If I had to
Yeah.
pick one of those two, I mean, I go Allen.
You like the Allen Kincaid stack?
Yeah, I feel like Kincaid and McBride can be close, but like, I mean, Allen's just the
I
dude
think
is
Kyler on a weekly
stupid.
basis could be close to could be close enough to he could be close enough to QB1, QB2 on any given week. And I feel like Trey McBride is just better than Kincaid right now.
Yeah, he is.
All right. And do we want super flex or no super flex? We'll do one more. Super flex or no super flex? Let me know. Is that other draft still going? Do we not
No,
finish
it's
it?
over.
I was about to say.
Are you gonna rate these teams or no?
Yeah, let's rate them real quick. Let me go back to that one. All right. So what do you see on my screen? You guys see that one? Let me do. Let's rate the teams. All right. You start. No, this is the other one,
Yeah,
right?
that's the other one. Yeah.
We just completed this one here.
Did you post the link in the chat?
I haven't posted it for the new one yet.
Oh, okay.
You said you're good?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna My kid's awake, so
All
go
right.
do that kind of shit, you know.
Link is up in the chat, and then as we fill that thing up, let's rate these teams. Oh, I got to get in it first, huh? Let's do pick 5. Pick 5. 12 team. We're gonna take off Superflex this time. Regular PPR. Regular PPR. No Superflex. Let's add a receiver. Oh, is that what happened last time? When somebody adds in it, it changes the thing hella quick. Make sure you look at the settings before the draft. All right. So go back to the teams. It was.
I mean, I gotta say, I probably have the best team anyways, so it don't
I
matter.
mean, you did not. There ain't no way you had the best team, bro.
Wait, why did I take Drake May too? Oh well, don't matter.
You always take Drake May. All right. I'll let you start it off.
All right, we'll go with team 1. So team 1. Team 1. We got Tyreek, Derrick Henry. Oh boy. Oh boy. No. I know that you said you like this. I hate this team. I ain't gonna lie. This
Hate
is a
it?
team I would never draft. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my
Listen,
God.
we're playing Superflex, right? If your quarterbacks heading into the season are Baker Mayfield and Russell Wilson and Geno Smith, you're probably going to take last place. All right. Why did you go with Kyler Murray in the second and the third? I
Baker
don't
and
know.
Wilson were top 15 quarterbacks last year.
Because everybody got hurt.
They were still top 15 guys.
Because everybody got hurt. If everybody plays, these are guys that are going to be around or quarterback 20. So like you need Derrick Henry to be RB1 or top 5 running back, maybe can. These other guys to pan out, or else you're just not going to make up what you're going to lose at the quarterback position. So for me personally, how I build my super flex teams, I don't like this team whatsoever. This is probably going to be one of my lowest grades ever. This is like a 6.8. All right.
No.
Thank you for your donation.
No. He said 6.8. That's wild. All right, here we go. I'm gonna go to the next team. Let me know. Was this a 6.8 chat? Was this a 6.8? Let me know. Toker Jones, you got CeeDee Lamb. He said 6. Tyler went from like every team being an 8 to every team being under 7.5. I love it.
I had to correct myself. I was giving out way too high scores.
I like it. As we get closer to the season, we can up the scores. I might go lower grades on this one too. Shit, I'm gonna join you. CeeDee Lamb, Nico, DeAndre Hopkins, Dak, Kyler. You got running backs for Rashad White, Stevenson, Kyle Pitts. Good upside there. I actually like this team. I can't even lie. I like this team.
That's a good
and
team.
I like this team. And I think it could have been a little stronger. In the middle there was like the Stevenson, Hopkins, Warren, Coleman area, but I still think you panned out with your top 6 picks. It looks good to me. I'm giving this team like a solid 8.1. 8.1.
It's a good team. This next team, I do like this next team. Like Josh Allen. I mean, this is a super flex draft, and you get Josh Allen at the 3rd pick. I mean, that's insane to me. But you got 2 good wide receivers there, Devontae Adams, Marvin Harrison. I don't really like Josh Jacobs, but if you're a big fan of him and for where you got him, it's not too bad, I guess. Isaiah Pacheco. Like I think that this team's really solid overall. I'll give it like a 7.7.
That might be the highest grade you're giving out today, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Tyler Helps team. Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, excuse me. Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Rashee Rice, Brian Thomas. You're staying in from the last draft we did, you're staying in kind of the same mode here. Travis Etienne, DeAndre Swift, Tajay Spears, Chase Brown. Obviously got upside at the running back position. A couple question marks at starters. I get this team. I like your other team better than this one. You got Daniel Jones, Drake, man. This is more like a 7.9 to me. 7.9. I like your other team better.
That other team was nice. I'm not gonna lie.
So outside of the risky quarterbacks, outside of that, this one's better.
Yeah. All right, this next one. So when we compare this team to the other team, like for me, I'd rather take a shot on like Deshaun Watson than Russell Wilson. Even like Matthew Stafford, I guess comparable to Baker Mayfield, but like I just like, and once again, this all comes fantasy comes down to preference. Like these are players that I really like Devon Achan, DJ Moore, T. Higgins. Like I like these players a lot more than the other players. So for me, this team is just a lot better than that first one because of the players that were drafted. So I would give this team like you waited on the quarterback position. Still don't love it, but just the players that you got makes up for that. And you could have some really high end players at their position. So for me, this is more like a 7. Do I like it that more than the other team? Probably not, but I would say like 7-6. It's really close.
So big question, I think, is probably because as I would, if I was just listening for the first time and not really like knowing kind of your strategy on things, right? Like your points per game type guy, things like that. I'm looking at this team and I'm like, okay, well, what's the difference between this team and this team in your opinion, right? Like you got a couple of guys with upside early on with like Kyron and Achan and Puka, but the quarterbacks to me aren't that different. Like Stafford and Watson, maybe Watson has 20-point potential, but Mayfield and Wilson are like 15, 16-point guys. So Geno was a top 10 quarterback 2 years ago in a better offense now. So what's the difference between this team and this team specifically at the quarterback position that makes you like it more?
So it's not even so much at the quarterback position. It's more the skill position. I mean, for me, I'm still taking CMC first. If you want to go with Tyreek, that's fine. But like, I like Puka. I mean, he gets Puka over Derrick Henry, which I'll take every single day. I think that Mike Evans and Kyron Williams is very close. But I love Devon Achan over Alvin Kamara. Now I know people like Alvin Kamara, but that's just me personally. And then like I like DJ Moore, T. Higgins. Like I like these guys a lot more, the skill position players for where they were drafted compared to the other players. Like I would have taken Devon Achan. Well, probably not in the third. I mean, I would have thought about it, but like,
Yeah.
it's just the players I like personally, the skill position players. I like them a lot more compared to the other team, basically.
Okay. So
And that comes down to you,
so
preference.
there was less of I'm just trying to make it so it was less of a strategy thing and more of who you took at ADP for this
Yeah,
team versus like strategy in this one.
yeah,
Okay.
people can like those players. Like I said, we can have different opinions. That's fine. That's
No,
just
we all got
players
to
that I
play
prefer.
fantasy the exact same way like bots. Jefferson, Taylor, Jordan Love, Jalen Wild, the whole J squad. This is going to get a high rating from me with all these J first names. Kirk Cousins, Keenan Allen, Zamira White. Most I like your running backs right now. Running backs are set up. I think you got good upside and really good floor there with your backup running backs. I think you got your receiver game can probably. Oh no, you got Jefferson, Waddle, Keenan Allen. I'm good with that. And then your quarterbacks, Love and Kirk. This is a good team. This is an A2 in my opinion. This is a solid team. I don't really see a whole lot of weaknesses. You got some upside. You got good value with Taylor there in the second round. I like this team. Give me A2.
See, so Tony in chat just said, Justin, write my
Let's
team
see.
again. It's got to be higher than 7-7. So I think that we need to look at like Barstool, right? When he does the pizza reviews, when they're in the sevens, those are pretty good scores. All right. Those are good scores. And then your elite scores are like the 8. So 7-7 in my like how I'm going to start to grade this is pretty good. Like that's a very solid fantasy score. So you could say
Hey,
it's like 8-5 if you really want, but like 7-7 is going to be really good.
yo, stop let's they
Yeah, you gotta listen. You gotta. I can't give out. Everybody gets A's. We're not doing
yeah.
that here. You gotta
I'll
draft
say this
elite.
too. You got to be able to take criticism from somebody else too, right? Like I could give you maybe it's a slightly better score, you'll feel a little bit better, but sometimes it's good to hear another person's opinion too, right? Like there might be something he says that I'm like, okay, maybe like to me when I heard the 7-7 on whoever's grade that on this team, right? 7-7, I think it wasn't a matter of like it was a bad. I think you just didn't take the players that he liked. I don't think it was the strategy. So if he was like 6-8, I think he didn't like this one because the players, right? That was rated
Yeah,
so low.
just
But
don't like. Yeah,
listen to the reasoning more than the grade. I would say that.
yeah. And if you like those players, I mean, damn, that's a good team for you. Like it's the same kind of what the other person did. It's just once again, I don't like those players,
Yeah.
but that comes down to
See,
you.
this team a little weaker than me. You know what I'm saying? Like that might be one of those 5.9.
Yeah,
I'm just playing.
yeah.
I'm just playing. All right, Jetta's OKC. This is you.
All right, so this next team we get, man, really wait on the running back position. Not too bad though, honestly. For there's probably other guys like I would have taken Najee over James Conner, but once again, it comes down to fantasy and like what you like. So I don't mind that you waited, but it is 2 wide receivers, so I just think that makes running backs just a little bit more valuable as you get later in the draft. But like passing up on Malik there. That is really tough. That's really good value for Malik. So I can't fault you there.
Malik over Keenan Allen is diabolical.
That is just
Diabolical.
smart. Like diabolically smart. Yeah.
No, it's
Like
diabolically
that is what
dumb.
you should be doing in fantasy. Absolutely. So like I don't mind this team. I would give it like a probably a 7-5. I don't like it quite as much as those other teams, but I do think it's a solid team. But also, like, where's your quarterback 3? I guess I didn't see that. Like, why don't you take quarterback 3? You're gonna be stuck with AJ
Yeah,
McCarthy? No, he already got taken. Who's it gonna be? I don't know.
there is no QB3 out there. All right, that boy B dot. We got Lamar, Trevor Lawrence, great quarterbacks there. I think you were able to get a good value there with Najee Harris as your RB2, Zeke and Charbonnet a little bit later, the bigger backs. And then you got Olave, Cooper, Tank Dell, Deontay. Ooh. I wish you would have did something different here at the wide receiver position. You got, good value with Lawrence and Jackson, right? Like good upside there. But I think at your other positions, you didn't really get much like upside. So I think if you were going to try to win your league, like Olave would need to be a major hit for you. Amari Cooper would have to be way different. And Deshaun Watson's going to have to be good. Mark Andrews would have to somehow take a leap up. Najee Harris don't really have a whole lot of like upside. Tank Dell is the third receiver in the offense. Deontay Johnson's on a bad offense. Mike Williams coming off a torn ACL. Quentin Johnson is on a bad offense. I just don't see any upside from this team at all. So I think this is more like a 7-6. And in the fact I don't think it's bad talent. I just think that there's like not any upside on this team.
So I was pretty harsh with the 6 one, huh? Yeah, you're gonna give that a 7-6.
7-6. You did say 6-8, bro. That's low.
All right, this next one. I don't love Michael Pittman, but like these other draft picks personally, like I do like it, like George Pickens. Not a huge fan of Terry McLaurin, but I feel like that's probably decently late for him. I would say that the more I'm looking at this team, maybe not. I don't mind it. Like how it started, I really don't mind it. I probably would have just drafted a different quarterback a little bit earlier as your quarterback too instead of Will Levis. Like I know people like Will Levis. I still have some question marks about him. But I don't think it's a bad team overall. I would say it's kind of in the range of the other ones I kind of drafted. So I'd say like 7-5, like 7-4.
7-5. Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow stack, Brock Purdy. So you got Burrow and Purdy. You got Kelsey, Cook, Brooks, Nick Chubb, and Eckler as your running backs. That's rough, man. To me, that's rough. And then you got Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith. You didn't get your third receiver until round 10. I don't know. I'm not really feeling this team. I don't mind you have like the stack. That's fine. Chase and Burrow. And then like you got Kelsey. But to me, this team is just way like there's not a whole lot for the risk that you took. What's the reward? I just don't see it on this team at all. So I think this might be a missing PPR leagues. Maybe in your standard league, this looks a little bit better, but I don't know. In PPR leagues, I don't see it. I'll give this team like a 7.5. And then I'll do this one so you can do mine. St. Brown, Barkley, Herbert, Caleb, McBride, Zay Flowers, Jordan Reed. I like Jaden Reed, excuse me, Hollywood Brown, and Cortland Sutton. I think this is a good team. I wish you got Herbert and Caleb. I kind of wish you would have got like T-Law and Tua, or like I feel like you could have did better with your quarterbacks there than Herbert and Caleb. But those are the guys you like. I don't mind it there if you feel like they'll perform well. I feel like this is a good team, not great team. Probably a playoff contender that won't win it all. Give me like an 8, solid 8 on that one.
All right, and this last one here. I mean, I don't mind it. I just like kind of how I build my teams out. I probably would have preferred. I guess it's kind of where you drafted to, like the quarterback 2. I guess I wouldn't really have gone with the quarterback 2 earlier. They all kind of went like a little bit too early in the tiers. So maybe I would have went with Jared Goff instead of Aaron Jones, but like how the draft started, I really do like it. And George Kittle went late, JSN. So I would say, look at you, get that little mini stack with Rashid Shaheed, huh? Look at
I
you,
didn't even see. I did not even see that.
Look at you, you're fancy. I'd say I'll give it I'd say it's probably on par with the other ones, like 7-5, 7-6, somewhere around there. Like I feel like it's a pretty solid team.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Who y'all think had the best draft? Let us know in the comments, man.